you too, mate.
Good evening, good evening. Welcome to the Daily Casts. My name's Ed. Thank you ever so much for joining me. And let's go to the main screen. Hello. Hello there, and our link ping. Thanks for joining. Jess, good evening. Hi. Gachido? Gachido. Pronunciation, not a strong point, but thank you very much for jumping in. Jen, good evening as well. Good evening. I hope everyone's had a lovely day today. DNDDBMBM, good evening. Vern212, first time watching the stream. Thanks ever so much for joining. If you, just below the screen here, if you click on follow, then you'll get notifications. That's the one. Yeah, you preempted me. I've been watching the Arsenal game. We are 1-0 up. As you can see, I've been a little bit rushed. I spent 5 hours looking for a passport today, which was a ton of fun. And then I came back at 5:30, and quite a lot had happened today. Bushi, that's how my day's been. Quite energetic. J Marcus 42 scoops. We have a ton of scoops tonight. Thanks for joining. So my special guest this evening is a friend of mine from. He sounds like he's from the north, but he is from the east, but he is certainly from the UK. He's a friend of mine from testing. He won a store championship with Omar, not Rebirth into Omar. That's right, Omar. It's Havvy. Ian, good evening.
Hello there. How you doing?
Hello. I'm very well. Thanks ever so much for joining me this evening. I needed the big guns this evening that don't come much bigger than you.
No, there's big guns than me, but no, thank you for inviting me. It's been quite a day, hasn't it? Plenty to talk about.
Oh, absolutely. Do you want to tell everyone people who don't know you, a little bit about yourself, maybe?
Yeah, sure. So, netbunner-wise, I think I started, 2017. Just before. I think when I started playing it seriously, Netrunner, that's unfortunately when, I say unfortunately, it's probably not so unfortunate, when FFG decided not to support Netrunner anymore.
Yeah.
So I kind of see myself still as the new person on the in the community, but I suppose it's been 2-3 years now.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah,
Mr. Cowbird's raided. Thank you so much for the raid, Mr. Cowbird. Sanjay, very kind of you. Good evening, Mike. Good evening, Z-Bag. Hello, everyone. Thanks, everyone, for joining. You say you're new, but I think you're the Pickwin. Good evening. You say you're new, but I think you joined slightly before me. I believe. Barrera, good evening.
Okay.
Yeah,
but it's a bit strange. Most of my I'm kind of a bit of a one-man meta. There's not much of a meta around my end of the woods, which is in Lowestoft. So I mostly play online tournaments. Graham uses tournaments, which are absolutely fantastic for anyone that wants to join them.
The next tournament's a week and a half away, isn't it? Graham's tournament.
I think so. Yeah. I'm not sure if he's now he knows the new card's being released. I'm not sure whether that will change his mind to change it after the new card's been released, but we'll see what he says.
It'd be interesting to see. But yeah, for those who don't know, Graham runs Fanboy Fanboy Store Championships / Game Nights. Does them all, I believe, for charity, and gives away probably the best set of prizes I've seen in any Netrunner tournament. I'm not going to lie. There's a lot of rare cards out there. Everyone, good evening. Giles, Genefra, thanks for joining. Captain Nice, thank you. And hype. Absolutely, Sanjay. We're on 31 viewers. We're almost hitting a record here. It's like people are interested in what's happened today. Next Saturday, I believe, 21st of March, Graham is running a tournament. It'll be a farewell to the Salvage Memories meta. And if you look at the prize pool, it is quite stunning, isn't it? Havvy?
Oh yeah, for sure. And he definitely runs a good tournament as well. He's really good. And if anyone's tempted, go for it. I'm pretty sure you won't regret it when Graham's running it.
No, absolutely. Conduit, good evening. Tony, good evening as well. Yeah, it's Graham's tournament. That's right, Mike. Yes, yes. Should we get on with some talking about cards? I mean, I don't know where to start this evening, and I'm not going to lie, it's a bit of a tricky one, right? Because I don't think we
Yeah.
can talk about cards without talking about the fact that everything looks completely different. What's happened? Good evening, Chris. What has happened?
Yeah,
Ian, where
it's
were
a lovely
you
looking
when
website.
these... Oh, absolutely. Aki, good evening. Ian is sus. Agree.
Oh no, I'm going to get trolled about this now.
They must have heard you were coming on.
No.
Yeah. What? Where were you when Nisei changed their website?
Well, I ain't gonna lie. I found out because the UK Slack said, "Oh yeah, there's been some accidental scoops."
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, it's a great looking website. I've had a quick look
Oh,
at it myself, and
absolutely
yeah,
fantastic.
it comes across so much more better, particularly for I expect for the newer players, it looks a lot more organised.
Yeah. Super clean. I really like the typeface in particular. Accidental spoilers are really unfortunate. That's right, but luckily. Oh, you're watching my stream, were you, Giles? Very cool. You've just found out, haven't you? You've just woken up and found out. Good to know. Yeah, so the scoops, although unfortunate, they were system update cards. They're coming out tomorrow and the day after, so worse things could have happened. Zeroth Maxima, good evening. Accidental spoilers are exciting. I think you're absolutely right. It's a beautiful site. If you haven't had a chance to check it out, do. Just to click through a few things. What is Netrunner? Some great art on the front page. Love the typeface. Clear and easy to read. Blog is essentially all the articles. You can see players, supported formats, organisers. It's just all very clear. Products, so there's very easy direct links. So the accidental scoops, yeah. Thanks ever so much, Deadstock. That's right. Anna, good evening as well, and Deadstock, good evening. Yeah, Ice Carver Troubleshooter, and there's another picture somewhere, and we
Yeah, I
don't
think
know
it's
what
in
it
one of those
is.
links actually.
It looks like an ice cream cart. Yeah, folks talking about it in GLC. If you want to scroll back in the spoiler discussion, it's all been talked about. I think they're now legal scoops. SCD, good evening. Thanks ever so much. The Corp Troubleshooter is back in system update. That's right. Solomir, good evening as well. Yeah, I think this is great. It's such an improvement on what was there before, and clearly like a huge amount of work's gone into this. Yeah, it is an unusual choice, Corporate Troubleshooter. Have you played Corporate Troubleshooter before, Ian?
You know what? I've neither played it or come against it either, so
No.
I can't feel it be a nasty shock at some point in the future.
Yeah. I wonder if there's some unusual interaction out there. Corporate Troubleshooter was a huge deal for the Ocarina format. Yeah. And SCD saying I haven't played it for 6 years. I think do you know what? It's something a bit different. Certainly you could build a deck around it.
Some like decks. I mean, in my head, where I could probably see him play, maybe in an outfit deck where you kind of got all that extra money compared to the runner.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah, outfit's a massive shout, to be honest. Especially if you're running into like a bulwark or something like that. It's pretty pricey in the first place, and it's pretty dangerous if you don't break it. So suddenly your breaker maths goes out the window. I was thinking of seeing it in Bologna, in NBN with Bolognas. Where you calculate you can steal the Bologna without getting hard hitting news afterwards, and all of a sudden that maths goes out the window, and that can get a little bit troublesome.
Shout actually.
Yeah.
I haven't thought of that at all.
Is it the most powerful card in the world? No. Are there uses for it? Possibly. Don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's one of those things where be a bit of a starter set where people come into the game, see cards. I think it's a great little card to have in that kind of set.
Yeah. Absolutely. And Ice Carver was the other card as well. Yeah, again, it's a classic card, isn't it? And good to see it in the game. And then we've got an ice cream truck, which we don't know what it is yet.
Yeah, the ice cream truck's interesting because we've got there's lots of ideas what it could be in the UK channel, and you could actually say you could actually convince yourself it could be any of those cards.
Yeah, absolutely. It could be anything really. What's being sold out the ice cream truck? Who knows? Speaking of ice cream, should we have a look at today's scoops? Segway.
Oh. See what you did.
Thank you ever so much.
Not smooth.
Smooth, thanks. So, see, this is how fresh. Thank you very much, Aki and Jen. Thank you. So, where's the bit of the website where we can read all the stories lore? Good question. Hopefully there's someone in the chat that can answer it. I'm not too sure. In all honesty, I haven't had a chance to fully explore yet. As you'll see, because I'm scrolling through Zoe's article today, Zoe and Keith, two of the development team, and as I scroll down it says click to reveal, which is really cool that you can read spoiler free and you have that extra, like, that little moment of reveal where you're like, whoa, cool. Yeah, I don't know, maybe it's just me. I enjoy that sort of stuff. I get excited. I'm very excited today, and I have to say, Overclock. First card, let's go. Right, Overclock, 1 credit, event run. Place 5 on this event, then run any server. You can spend hosted credits during that run. Now, obviously, scrolling down to Overclock, I might have missed something in the article.
I'm sure it's not important.
I'm sure it's not important. Nothing else important happened today apart from 2 cards getting scooped. Oh yeah, no wait, Stimhack's rotating. Ian, what do you think?
Sad, isn't it? It's sad, isn't it? I mean, it's an iconic card, but yeah, I mean, it's not in my own personal view. Do you know, 9 credits for very little drawback, 0 credits to play. Yeah, it's I mean, at the best, it's a strong card. I suppose at the worst, it's quite a warping card as well.
For sure.
But it still it does leave a gap for Econ for he probably could definitely Anarch, and he probably could argue Shaper as well. So it'd be interesting to see what comes in to kind of fill those gaps. Okay, Overclock is clearly similar, but I think the article's quite clear that it isn't a replacement card, because you can't really replace Stimhack.
No, you can't. You can't. They're 2 different cards, and the article goes into, for example, Lat can't play Stimhack because all of a sudden Corp just has a full hand and you've got a blank ID.
Is it really bad that every time I see cards like this, I think, oh, Adam's going to love that?
And speaking of Adam, let's go into the flavour text here.
Yeah.
So, after 381 FS4 started acting independently, all bets were off. Rethreading, multi-threader, its own brain chip, even probe, is that one? I can't remember. On nodes, I had to shut it down. Linus Lovegood.
That's a bit of a coincidence, isn't it?
No, lots of coincidence going on there. but Dr. Lovegood surely not working for NBN. That would be unusual, wouldn't it? Yes, that's right. It was revealed, Giles, that it was a Patreon reward. Someone asked for some Adam lore on a card. And
I never realised that. Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, I think that's quite magnificent. For those who don't know, if you join the Patreon at certain tiers of support, you get things like you just get an article, or you get the wallpapers as well, all the way through to what happened to that story. Not sure, unclear. All the way through to being able to work to design a card, some card art or flavour text, something like that, and just leave your mark on the game. Well worth checking out. Yeah. Overclock, look, it's not the most exciting card in the world, unless you're an Adam player. Nudge, nudge. Fellow Adam player, Ian, thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, it certainly frees up 2 free imp, not only for Adam, but you could argue Shaper as well,
Yeah.
which isn't a small deal. I mean, there's a lot I like about this card.
Mm.
Um, I mean, it's so easy to try and compare it to Dirty Laundry, but I think they're two very different cards. I mean, obviously, Dirty Laundry gives you real money,
Mm.
whereas this is just during the run.
Yeah.
Um, so I suppose, Dirty Laundry you'd want to see early in the game to get your econ going.
Mm.
But with Overclock, it's one of those cards you probably want to see mid-late game.
Yeah.
So I mean, at the worst, it's 4 credits, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that's basically a short gamble to run in a wanna.
Worst
So I
case, it's a
think,
sure gamble, and you get a run attached to it as well, as long as you spend those credits.
yeah, and there's plenty, for Anarch, you can spend it for,
Mm.
for Shaper. Yeah, it helps you burst those self-modifying codes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really, I really like the card, and I just hope it doesn't get the too strong comparison of, oh yeah, this is what replaced him hack. I really
Yeah.
hope it doesn't get that kind of vibe on it.
Mm.
I mean,
And it's
the
something.
thing is,
It's
oh,
something that June talked about in the article yesterday. Again, it's sort of complexity points. You bring in a card like this, it's very clearly worded, it's very understandable. I really actually like the rules wording on this. Putting the hosted credits on the card itself. It's quite,
mhm.
if you're playing live Netrunner, that's really quite easy to understand. Not the most
Oh
complex card in the world, which opens up complexity space elsewhere.
yeah, and I mean, kind of when I saw this card, I think the first thing I thought about was, one of the plays you do if you're playing Reg Anarch decks, BCTM is, you can stim hack, turn one to try and contest that, the whatever's in that remote and the trace
Mm.
as well. And it got me thinking, could you do that with this card? And I'm not sure, if I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
How does this
it's,
work with
it's
Mumbad Virtual Tour?
That is a good question.
It's just one
I'm
I've
pretty
thought
sh-
of.
I'm pretty sure that yeah, you spend your overclock credits. I'm kind of half looking at chat now, but I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure
no,
that's how it
Mr.
works.
Cowbird in the chat saying it is quite interesting to see, and I'm glad they haven't deleted it. The person that wrote it, shout out to Kevin Tammy. With regards to some ambiguity with reading the card, there was a fun misunderstanding on Facebook about whether it let you spend the credits hosted on it or just hosted credits in general. Can you imagine if you had a fully loaded Liberated accounts and then you played Overclock for one, you got 5 on that, and all of a sudden you've got 21 credits you can spend in a run for 1 credit? That would have been a delight. Yes. Uh,
Yeah, I think this has got its uses, and certainly it's. I don't think you could straight up say is this better or worse than Dirty Laundry. I actually, in my head at least, and I'd be interested to see what chat thinks.
mm,
I think there's I think there's quite a difference between two cars to do quite different
yeah.
things.
I haven't seen that comparison news today, although to be honest, I have been a little bit out of it today. But yeah, no, I wouldn't compare it to Dirty Laundry myself. I think they're two different things. It's cold read, isn't it? More than anything, but without the downside of trashing a program.
Yeah, for sure. And it's nice that it's 1 credit as well, because there's that Anarch resource, isn't there, that can play events? God,
Mm.
what is it now? Mystique something?
Uh,
Uh,
Here we go. We can do Mystic Mammy.
that's the one, thank you. You've got that. There's other cards as well. I think this synergizes with Ken as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does absolutely. A Ken Swift deck. All of a sudden, you're getting 4 credits for a run, plus a draw from Ken when you make a run. Yeah.
And we don't know what's in update yet.
No.
But if
Credit. Yeah, that's
um,
right. Yeah, I know.
if
I
there's a
did pause. Yeah, I don't play a lot of Ken. Yes, a credit, 1 credit. Correct me next time, Ian. Aki just I summoned a judge. It didn't go through quite quick enough, but Aki luckily got there in time. You have to trash MVT if you can by any means necessary, which means you have to imp it. It forces you to spend hosted credits, etc. But fair enough.
So yeah, I mean, it's interesting. So this with StimHack going and this kind of,
Mm.
I'm not saying its place, but it can fulfil something at least similar.
Yeah.
Yeah, those CTM turn ones where you install free remote servers naked as such.
Mm.
Seems a lot more robust now against Regarnac.
Yeah.
Um, it's so that's going to be quite an interesting dynamic for sure.
Oh, very much so. Very much so. And sorry, this art, by the way, I know I say this every time, but I genuinely do mean it. Um, uh, by Scott Uminga. Coincidentally, I jumped on. They commented on a Nisei post the other day, and I jumped on their Twitter. Man, art wise, sensational. And then to see this afterwards, like, do check out Scott Uminga. Check out their Twitter account. Their art's just phenomenal. If you like this, you're going to love their work. Really worth looking out for. Yeah. Should we move on?
Yeah, I'm trying to think if I've got anything much more to say. Except for every time I see a new art piece, I feel like I need to copy and paste. Like I love this art because I'm pretty sure I say that every time. Always
Fingers
followed by
crossed.
yeah.
Fingers crossed. This is going to be the Patreon reward wallpaper for next month. This certainly is with JNet
Okay.
background or something like that would be very very cool. Um, Second one for today, perhaps the more spicy of the two cards, Amniotic Void.
Yeah, what a card this is.
Me-
It,
Meta defining only gets used 1 day per stream. One stream per day. Yeah.
I mean, for me, let's go for the easy bit. I mean, look at the artwork on that. It's
Mm,
just astonishing. I mean,
yeah.
I think I said to someone before, do you know, if this was a play mat on, for as a reward for a tournament, God, I think I'd be playing JNet all the time trying to get it.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. The chat's going wild. Absolutely. Yeah. I personally, I love this. I prefer this. I just think it's quite beautiful. But I get the big boy feel. Look at these big hot burly boys. Bloom, good evening. Thanks for joining. Yeah, love this art, and the ability really is quite interesting. Let's go through it. So, Amniotic Void.
Yeah.
It's a unique card, 0 cost, upgrade, not a region. Thank goodness. You can have a couple of these. I don't think
So
anyone's
I'm
picked
getting
that out
flashbacks
yet.
to the snake draft there, man.
No. Let's talk about Snake
Oh,
Draft after this. That'd be
yeah,
quite fun,
sorry.
actually. Yeah, no,
That's a
we
tangent.
should. We should. We'll jump into that. So, upgrade. Whenever the runner approaches this server, you may pay 2 credits and trash 2 cards from HQ. If you do, end the run. Trash cost 1 credit. 4 influence. 4 influence. Would you
So I
splash
just
this?
it's hard for me to say because I don't normally play those type of glacier decks.
No.
I normally play much more like combo-based decks, but this is just such a nice card. You
Yeah.
it's a hefty investment outside of Genteki for sure. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, just for I don't know, for your typical Genteki glacier type decks, this is just awesome. I can't see why you wouldn't splash it.
Yeah. Jeff.
Not
Jeff in the
splash it,
chat
but I
saying.
mean,
Jeff in the chat saying HB Splash is this. As far as I'm concerned, this and Precision Design are a match made in heaven, right?
oh yeah, for sure. That's kind of what I
Yeah.
thought as well.
Vern as well saying put in Precision Design. BCESJ, thanks for joining. I'm surprised it wasn't trash 2 random cards. Yeah, absolutely. You trash 2 cards, score an agenda that you've not let the runner steal, bring it back.
Also, thanks, Jessica. Yes, I am a bit probably odd in being a combo-based UK player. I have to feel the odd one out.
Probably a
but
couple. No Kronos talk tonight.
I know I can't. I promise I won't
Please.
mention that.
Yeah.
But this is I just love the design of it because I don't know. Let's say even if you've got one agenda in your HQ when you're trying to defend something in a remote server. I mean, what do you actually trash? Do you still trust the 2 non-agenda cards, and then you just weakened HQ? you've gone from a 20% chance to a 33% chance of losing agenda
Yeah,
defending your remote. And I thought, it just really makes for some really interesting decision making, which is, for me, those kind of decisions is what I really love about playing Netrunner.
mm,
But yeah, I
absolutely.
mean,
Yeah,
it wouldn't surprise me if you see a political operative war in play just for this card.
for sure.
Um, um, yeah, that wouldn't surprise me at all.
Yeah. I know we won't see it, but Princess Space Kitten. What's the card called? Um, Rumor Mill. Is Rumor Mill cycled out or just banned?
It's current, isn't it? So it's
Oh, it's
unfortunately
current. Of
it's
course it is.
banned.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. All
yeah, that's
right,
probably.
everyone. Thanks, chat. Yes. All right. Long day. I've had a difficult day. Right.
And also, like, it is too soon to ask about the 4% chance. That's
Yeah. No.
another story.
I don't
But
like
yeah,
chaos. Yeah.
yeah, but this is just I just there's so much I just love about the card. In fact, I don't think there's anything I don't like about the card.
Mm.
I think it just fits into the kind of, for me, the Genteki theme so well, and yeah, I think we're going to expect to see a lot of it.
Yeah. And I think uh, Sengrin in the chat is saying it's incredible for locking in the final score. Because two trash cards you don't care about because you're about to win the game. But it's super cool in the middle. Can you plop it before the corp can res and pay? I am not a rules expert. I'm not going to pretend to be. Definitely.
That is a good question.
Can you plop it before the corp can res and pay?
Let's see what the chat thinks.
We've got you can. We've got definitely. We've got a yes. Sad Stark, thanks for joining. You just need a defense contract. If it's the same window as Caprice, then yes. Let's go with that, shall we? Let's leave it there for now on the timings. Are you like me? Timings scare me as well. I learn timings. I don't learn them through charts. I learn them through being told I'm wrong.
I learned by painful experience as well. Somebody. Yeah, exactly. I'm exactly the same. It's just the way I'm wired, really. But yeah, painful experience. It's the best sometimes.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
But yeah, I mean, I can imagine political operative just being splashed just for this card. To be fair, political operative is a card that is quite flexible anyway. But for me, this is just we look at the Palan servers and the amount of nasty ice they can have. You got Flush, Slot Machine, and Ansi. You can even, you've got plenty of info to splash other nasty ice in other factions. It's just it makes those servers really nasty.
And of course, with Thimble Rig as well,
yeah.
you're moving more nasty stuff onto that server. Potentially, Ag Infusion loves this as well.
Yeah, I reckon so. It's it's just, I think it's just really, really nice that it really forces you to make those decisions on what you want, what's you got to leave in HQ and archives.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's just such a clever design. And as an APOC player, I just absolutely hate this card. This is a disaster for APOC.
It's fully a disaster for APOC. And fact remains that 2 credits and 2 cards, that's a serious cost. It's a serious investment to end the run.
It is. It's it does take some thinking about using. But if you really want to protect that agenda, then yeah, sure.
Yeah, absolutely. If it's game winning or game losing, you're going to lose those cards. You'd be okay with it, wouldn't you? Giles saying, I think this means Nisei Mark II needs to rotate. Jess saying border control, obviously, yeah. There's already a critical mass end the run effects. Yeah, my personal take is I think Polana's already got a lot of end runs with Biovault as well, and this could be a critical mass.
I must admit, I think I'd play this over Biovolt any day.
Yeah, you could play. You could
Because
play both.
because in my head, Biovolt it needs a bit of prepping, which is fine if you play a bit slower. But with this, you can install this card, install a 4-2, advance it, and yeah, that's your scoring window done.
Sure.
And with Biovolt, you always got that. Effectively, you need at least a term to prep it, don't you?
Hmm.
In fact, I'm trying to think of ways that you wouldn't need a turn to prep it with an agenda unless you've got the agenda already installed. But
I
yeah, it
don't
starts
think
getting really a bit messy.
realistically. I don't think realistically you're trying to get 2 tokens on a Biovault any
Yeah, well,
unreasonable way,
this,
are you?
I mean, with this, you can do it.
Mm.
For me, it fits the plan, the kind of that tempo plan, so much more better.
Mm.
Would you see it in Eigen Fusion?
I think so personally. I think so.
Yeah, I reckon you would because usually Eigen Fusion decks runs a lot of ice because you're kind of chucking ice set everywhere. So it feels like you wouldn't be so sad seeing those cards being trashed in my head.
No,
But
maybe a
I
problem for Ag Infusion's money and paying 2 credits. Then I suppose 2 credits is like a Biovault double advance, isn't it? So
for me, it's probably the cheapest. That kind of the run will end effect.
yeah.
It's okay. So you can't do it all the time, but it's still a hefty cost.
Mm.
I'll
And
put a
obviously,
different way.
in
So go on.
restoring humanity, you want to be trashing cards from HQ. Suddenly you fork in the runner. Suddenly the runner's going to be dripping you a credit every turn unless they go over to archives.
Yeah, it's kind of funny for Breach Domison about, but it
Yeah,
isn't. So that's fine.
yeah. At the moment,
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I'd be surprised if we've ever see that card back.
you think
It's
so?
a bit silly.
It's interesting.
Um, I I don't think it's needed in this meta or any meta really.
Hmm.
I mean, I mean, if this is just my view also. Nothing to do with testing team or anything. But doing that one meat damage and also trusting the stack for free,
Hmm.
and it also works in archives.
Hmm.
That's too much, isn't it, for no cost?
Yeah, potentially. Potentially.
Yeah, it's just too much for doing very little.
I think it's the fact that it stays around once it's in archives that's the most egregious part of it. But
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. Yeah, it's just there's so much which just makes it pushed. That's my own viewpoint,
Mm.
and I don't think it's needed either. But yeah, if I was still about, this would be even worse.
Yeah. Problematic all of a sudden, absolutely.
Well, I see this. It's actually you have to have a bit of a thought actually. Because in this kind of current meta, there's a lot
Mm.
of antivirus tech. Like CVCS, Microphage, Sandbox, and you could legitimately use that card to trash CVS into
Yeah.
archives. And if they think, oh yeah, I might check to see what's in there, they might not because then you're paying the corp 4 credits for that purge. So that's
Yeah.
actually quite interesting. That
That
kind
is
of
quite interesting. Polana will love that because Polana plays Sandbox and CVS already. And then
yeah this
you use this, you get your CVS in the bin, and it's printing you money all of a sudden.
so yeah I think Polana's to be fair, it was a strong deck anyway, Polana,
Mm.
but this is
Hmm.
definitely pushed it up another level. I think
Yeah.
I could be wrong, but this feels
Just
strong.
just a little bit from the chat here. We've had Captain Nice saying with Lacoste Biovalt it's really easy to get live and it works on any server. Yeah, worth remembering. Giles says that as well. Um,
Yeah, that's a
it's
fair
saying
point. Yeah,
it's Sengrin disagreeing and saying you play this over Biovalt. Um, we've got Zeroth Maximus saying I like it because you need to dirtle a bit to get cards in hand to play an Attic Void, which gives the runner an opportunity. Anna saying it being KMB-esque, I would expect it to be a region.
yeah. I mean, it's yeah. I must admit, I always struggle to draw the line what should and shouldn't be a region.
Mm.
But I'm trying to think of anything too problematic where it combos with a region, and probably can't think of too much at the moment. I mean,
No.
obviously, the Costa Grid is an obvious one in my head, but I
Mm.
don't think it causes too much problems with them two being the same.
Yeah. Just saying in the chat, it being unique, obviously, you can only protect one server with this. Um, do you play
Yeah,
Vault Plus? Do you stick this on R&D to stop an R&D deep dig while you're scoring out the remote with a Vault and a Lacosta? I wonder.
I think you probably have a problem with slots there.
Mm, yeah.
Yeah, slot. Yeah, in fact, yeah, I'm at same. You've just got slots. I mean, I think you'd have to sacrifice Lacoste grid
Yeah.
for it. I think you probably play three of this, three of Costa grid. That's my gut instinct, but I don't really play these types of decks. But if I was playing against a Plana deck, I would actually be quite worried about those.
Mm, yeah. Oh, yeah. And I suppose when you're coming up against Plana or Ag Infusion, you don't know which one it's going to be necessarily, do you? You're going to be
Exactly.
coming up
Yeah.
against. So really, really interesting. Great card design. Uh, Embezzle stonks have gone through the roof. Yeah, absolutely they have. Um, and a really great article today as well. I mean, both of us obviously, we know the playtest experience, but I think it's been a really nice window into how a card goes through the dev process.
Yeah, it's. I mean, obviously, I've seen this card develop.
Mm,
Although I'm more on the standard ban list
mm,
all the time.
mm,
But it has been interesting to see how it's developed over time, and I think it's developed to really, into a really, really good position.
yeah.
And I've not really heard. I don't think I've actually heard any kind of because I've been looking on. I've only been looking at Slack and Facebook. I've not really heard anything bad said about this card. It seems like it's been received pretty positively.
I think everyone's super excited. Um, if you cut the costs and you use the Vault efficiency, also Vault can stop the R&D deep dig anyway. Yeah, it's a fair point. But Vault, yeah, can only do it once, whereas Amniotic can do it multiple times. And maybe we see this more in Ag Infusion, and we see the Lacosta Vault in Polana.
I mean, it's kind of. I'm just thinking out loud now. Let's say you're on the last agenda and you've got the end of run 4-2. See agenda scored.
Mm.
Then if it gets our confusion and they've got 4 cards in hand, it's actually really difficult for them to win, isn't it? I
It
think.
is. Yeah, it is. You're not wrong.
Um, yeah, it's especially if you've got an invest piece of ice on archives, it's really, really hard.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
Yeah. It's an interesting card. Bushi saying, I'm surprised by the community reaction on Amniotic Void versus Stimhack. Um, I think a lot of us were worried about the community reaction. I messaged you, I think, this morning and said, I'm going to need support, I'm going to need backup today. And it's been overwhelmingly sentimental rather than sad or angry. Maybe sentimental. It's a card that you get at the start of the game. It's wow, I've suddenly got 9 credits. It's an iconic card. Going out of the game.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's absolutely iconic card. I mean, how the Slack is named after it.
Yeah.
But I think, yeah, I think most people I've spoken to have kind of understood that it is such a strong card, Stim Hack, and it'd be interesting to see what the game is without it,
Yeah.
and it'd be interesting to see what effect that has. Well, like I said, I think CTM's probably going to have a bit of an easier time early game with it. That those big Stim Hack Glacier runs. Yeah, that's going to have less of an effect. So it's going to have an interesting effect on the meta, and I'm really looking forward to seeing it.
Yeah. No, interesting changes and certainly meta-defining cards in Stimhack going Amniotic coming into the pool. Yeah, I think they'll both be impactful, if nothing else.
Yeah, I mean, certainly I can see Overclock being played, but I'm not sure if I'd see it in every deck, if I'd be honest with you.
No.
Almost kind of where Steam Hack got to. But I think you see it quite regularly, I reckon.
Yeah.
Still a lot of value.
I imagine it's a card you'd quite like to have in the deck. Certainly strong in Snake Draft.
It is, yeah.
Yeah. Snake Draft, the home of having 2 location upgrades in one deck.
What was it? Tranquil Grid?
No. I had Sansan and Ginger. Sansan Ginger. It was an incredible idea, right? No, this was myself, Havvy, Jess in the chat, amongst others, played a Snake Draft about 3-4 months ago. It was quite soon after Salvage Memories meta came out, and Sansan, obviously, everyone's saying is a good card. So I draft Sansan early, then I proceed to build a Sports Metal Glacier deck, and then I got Ginger, because, Ginger's a good card. And then you build your remote with Ginger, and you stick a Sansan in. Cracking.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah. I can't see where you I can't see where it could go wrong.
No issue at all. I can't remember the order. It was either Ginger first, and then I was like, "Ooh, look, Sansan." I think I took Sansan first. I hadn't necessarily assessed the power level of Sansan, having not played it before. Ton of fun though,
Yeah.
and shout to Jess for organising the Snake Draft. It was really great fun, particularly putting the pressure on you every turn. That was perhaps the most most fun for me.
It's a bit of a weird one for me, that experience, because I basically built a Cronus deck, which was pretty much identical to what I played in tournaments before, because of such weird cards. But then my runner deck was a proc lap deck, which, that didn't really work.
It might do. It might do.
It might be one day.
We'll get there.
Yeah.
So Jess has checked the sheet. I took Ginger 4th and then Sansan 5th. I think I was on pretty close to the wheel as well, so they're essentially a double pick. I actually won a game. I won a game with that deck. I've had a Frog's just jumped in to join me. Good evening, Mr. Frog. I've got a pond in the garden. And,
okay.
Froggy's just wandered in. There we go. We love frogs.
So I wasn't expecting to say that at all.
I wasn't expecting to look to my right and see a frog jump across the floor. But I'll sort that in a minute. Just one more thing I wanted to... Yeah, everyone was saying, Ed, do you know how regions work? I do know how regions work. Thank you very much. Join Nisei. I'm also scared of frogs, by the way. Yes, we do have frogs. I've got a pond in my garden. I've got frogs spawning in it at the moment. So, yeah, frogs everywhere. And I don't think...
I must admit, you are right, aren't you? Is the frog on your right?
Oh, yeah, the frog's that way, which, you all think...
Yeah, because you're asking me away from it.
Yeah, I know. Weird, isn't it? Yeah, shit like that. Article on Giles from the home of the most dangerous animals in the world saying that frogs are cute. Yeah, everything's relative, isn't it? Join Nisei. Have a look at this. Playtesting. We're always looking for more playtesters to help us shape the future of the game. Click here to apply for ban list testing, or click here to apply for product testing, which is currently testing the next Nisei cycle, codenamed Bashes. All levels of experience with the game welcome. I joined playtesting as a borderline complete beginner. I played maybe 50 games of Netrunner in my life, which on the scale of things is not very many at all. I'd never played a tournament. I joined product testing for Gateway. I can't recommend it enough if you want to help the game progress. Support is welcome. Have you got more to say on that here? I know you've been in the ban list testing group for a while, haven't you?
Yeah, I must admit, if I was really prepared, I would actually find out when I joined. But it was before the... I remember testing the big ban list, which was, I think, 2006.
Okay, yeah, 2006, yes. Yeah.
Yeah, which was a lot of testing games with with things like, Sensei Actors Union and
Yeah,
crowdfunding. That was interesting. But
yeah,
yeah, it's brilliant. It's it kind of works both ways. Because you play with all sorts of people for various experiences.
hmm
I found I picked up quite a lot just from playing with better players as such.
yeah,
And
sure,
you do feel like your feedback is it feels really nice to play some games. Think, okay, this is my opinion. You kind of put it forward, and being involved in discussions, it feels like a little community in itself, and
yeah,
it is nice. It does feel rewarding. I think some people be put off by thinking, oh, well, I've got to do it all the time.
mm,
Um, but I always feel that it's if you do little often, that for me works out quite well. So yeah, I think if people are tempted, I mean, yeah, if I suppose the offer, if anyone's tempted of playtesting and they will ask some questions,
yeah,
I'm on Slack as Havvy. If you want to ask me any questions, just fire away, and I'll try and answer them as best as I can. Kind of my experiences of playtesting. But as I said, I've been doing it for probably, God, it must be approaching. I think it's approaching well over a year now,
yeah.
and I enjoy it. It's something I feel quite proud about.
Mm. Yeah, I'm on Slack as Havvy. Of course you are. Your name is Havvy. You're also on. I believe you're on the GLC Discord as Havvy as well. Um,
Right? Yeah, yeah.
yeah, but certainly the in particular ban list testing might not seem like the most glamorous. But look, if you're fed up of coming up against PE decks or you're sick of RP decks over the last few months, join the ban list team. Play 50 games against PE, against RP or PE, and then all of a sudden you say, look, can you see we need to ban this card, it's not enjoyable for anyone, it gets banned. Rather than sitting moaning about it, you actually do something positive and proactive for the community. Sales pitch over, join, apply to join. um, that's about it from me. I'm a little bit creeped out by the frog. um, he's, he's disappeared, they've disappeared wherever. He's over that way now.
Well,
And
it's
I
probably not
don't know how he
disappeared.
got there.
It's probably not disappeared. It's probably in your blind spot now.
Interestingly enough, let's just get a little shout out to the frog this evening. If you can see him there, he's just next to the Netrunner box, actually, next to my folders. Yeah, a little insight into my carpet. So I'm going to go and sort out the frog, and thanks. A bit of Spring Watch. If you haven't watched Spring Watch before, it's a lovely way to spend 45 minutes on a Sunday night. Ian, thanks ever so much for joining. Was there anything else you wanted to talk about?
Oh, that's all. I just thank you for inviting me along. I've enjoyed it.
No, ton of fun, and thanks so much everyone for joining. If you haven't subscribed already or followed already, do follow down below. You get updates of when I'm coming on. Thank you very much. There he is. Over this weekend, I'm not going to lie, the guests keep on coming. Tomorrow, I'm joined by Anarcho Mushroom, aka Podrig, for the system update runners tier list special. And then on Saturday night, I've got not Rotage 1, I've got the original version, Rotage, coming with his PowerPoint presentation. And Sunday night, I've got the lady herself, Aki, coming to talk about tokens and all sorts of things. So the next few days are going to be pretty great. Right, thanks ever so much, everyone. Have a lovely evening, and take care. Bye for now.